you think of the term horror games, what pops into your mind? Maybe you think Five Nights at Freddy's for its cultural impact, or Bendy and the Ink Machine for its unique art style and take on old classic cartoons. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. Today, I want to talk about a game that you wouldn't expect to be a horror game when you think of it at first. That game is Subnautica. This is the long-awaited 100 subscriber special, how Subnautica succeeds at making you feel isolated. Let's start with the title screen of the game. The music already sets the tone for how the game is going to be. Eerie, but with a sense of hope. This track is called Salutations, which is by a composer called Simon... You know what, I don't remember his surname. Look him up though, related to Subnautica. He's amazing with these tracks. So the game begins with some words which show the developers, that being Unknown Worlds. While alarms are blaring, we see our character get into a life pod since, you know, it's an emergency to get out of wherever we are. So we start descending and we see a ship explode. This is ours, and we don't know what exploded it, but it's not looking good. Some stuff decides to dislodge because your day wasn't going any better as it is, and then a metal plate knocks you unconscious for a couple seconds. Wow, off to a great start. So our character then wakes up to see the life pod is on fire. 2 for 2, great. So you pick up the fire extinguisher and extinguish the flames because you do not want to die. And then you get to have a more clear look around of the life pod. It's not looking great. You pull up your PDA, which is this universe's equivalent of a tablet or iPad, and it starts to boot up. And it talks, as you can see the dialogue on screen right now. It says about how its primary objective is to protect you on this alien planet. This is how you access your inventory. So after having a look around your life pod, you decide to look upwards, outside. After stepping outside of your life pod for the first time, you realise, yeah, that ship that just crashed and that you saw blow up in the air earlier, you was on that. And not only that, but you learn that the ship that is now there is known as the Aurora, which had more than you on board. I think if you have a basic understanding in explosions and crash landings, it would seem very likely you are the only survivor. Your objective now at the moment is to just go around the safe shallows and collect some basic resources, learn the ins and outs of the game, and craft some tools. The first tool of your interest will be the scanner, which you need to learn about the environment around you. And that's one of the most satisfying parts of the game as well, scanning everything. But you'll also need to scan parts. What parts am I talking about specifically? All sorts of different parts. The ones that will interest you at the moment, at the very start of the game, is the Sea Glide, which is a tool that makes you move a bit faster than your base movement, which you gotta love it. It's very helpful later in the game. Not much really happens for the first couple minutes to an hour of the game. You get your tools, you get the repair tool, which is what you need to make your life pod look a bit better, and that's about it really. However, you also have a radio, which will start to send transmissions to you. You get one as soon as you finish repairing the radio, and this is what it says.
This is Aurora. Distress signal received. Rescue operation will be dispatched to your location in 9, 9, 9, 9 hours. Continue to monitor for emergency transmissions from other life pods.
Well, that's not looking good. Looks like you're going to be stuck on this planet for longer than you thought. For some background context, since I imagine at this point in the video you're wondering, what kind of planet have we landed on? And more specifically, does it have a name? Yes, it does. If you paid attention to your surroundings in the life pod, this planet is named 4546b. And as you can probably tell if you've got eyeballs, it's a mostly water-based planet. So, yeah, you can imagine what eldritch nightmares are hiding here. So, with not much choice of what else left to do, you continue looking for materials, because that's what you need to survive. However, after a little bit longer of playing the game, you get your first other radio transmission, and you're a bit surprised of what it is.
Receiving pre-recorded distress call, laying back.
This is LifePod 3, uploading our coordinates. We're plugging some holes in our emergency sea glide, so if we're late for the rendezvous, don't panic. Also, don't go home without us. Seriously. 3 out.
So yeah, your other transmission is people calling out for help. So you can imagine at this point you're thinking, oh my god, I might actually not be the last one here. So excited, you look to where your PDA has given the location of said individuals, and you make your way over. You're probably thinking, oh, it'd be finally nice to have other people help me out on this planet. Well... Well, that was a letdown. You made it all that way to that life pod, and unfortunately, no one is there. Although you should still look inside. Granted, it's not as good as it would have been if those people were still alive, but there are some resources you can get, mainly other PDAs. Remember that one you have? Well, as you progress through the game, and you get more transmissions from other life pods, you collect PDAs along the way, which are optional little collectibles you can take to learn more about the world around you and what led up to this point, which is really interesting. So that sucks. I mentioned other life pods. I wouldn't get excited, as this whole damaged life pod, no one there business, it's reoccurring. I hate to break it to you. So you're not exactly feeling great at this moment in your playthrough. You're thinking, great, I've crash landed on this planet now. I thought I was going to have company, but everybody's dead. Now what? Well, not much else happens for a while besides said life pod transmissions. However, after you've spent a couple more hours in the game, you get a radio transmission that actually might be your savior.
This is Avery Quinn of Trading Ship Sunbeam. Aurora, do you read? Over? Another vacuum. These Altera ships. They run low on engine grease, send an SOS, you offer to help, they don't pick up. Aurora, I'm out on the far side of the system. It's gonna take more than a week to reach your position. Do you still need our assistance? Over. I'll try them again tomorrow. Damn charter's gonna have us blowing our credits running errands for Altera. See what the long-range scans pick up in the meantime.
Well, isn't that the news you wanted to hear? Not only is there a ship that has made communication to Aurora, but they're also willing to pick you up, which is amazing. They said they're on the other side of the planet or galaxy though, so it's going to take them at least a week to get to you. So while you wait for their arrival and maybe some other transmissions from them, let's list some stuff you've probably gotten up to leading up to that point and slightly afterwards. You would have learned what a crash fish is. An exploding ball of death. You're gonna grow to hate those guys later in your Let's Play. Maybe you've seen the stalkers pick up metal salvage, and you're confused as to why. Well, if you've scanned the stalkers, you should get a PDA entry that should explain exactly why they do this. Plus you get stalker teeth for observing them doing it for a while, and they can occasionally chip off. So take those will be good for materials. So, the feeling of being alone. So far, Subnautica exceeds at this pretty well. For the first couple minutes to an hour, you're not feeling great. The fact that your radio said that you'll be picked up in 9999 hours doesn't make you feel good. And some of the sounds you would have heard on Planet 4546b, pretty unsettling. I mean, as a seasoned Subnautica player, I'm pretty familiar with these sounds, but for a first-time player, they're not going to sound particularly great. So after a while of doing some more stuff, Sunbeam sends you another message.
Aurora, this is Sunbeam again. We just picked up a massive debris field at your location. I didn't know how many of you... I didn't know. We're now en route to your location. We're gonna bring you home. Sunbeam out.
So there you go. Sunbeam has given you confirmation that they're planning to head towards you. About time, honestly, you'd be thinking. So, more stuff that you'll probably be doing while you wait for them to arrive or send another message. Maybe you've discovered some more biomes with more of said eldritch horrors I mentioned earlier. Like the sand dunes biome, which that biome is mostly chill, bar a few sand sharks here and there which like to jump scare you every 10 minutes. And even then that time can be a bit generous. So after a while of doing some more exploring, and maybe you've built a base in this time, Sunbeam gives you even better news.
Aurora, we're approaching the planet now. We have a landing site for you that's... well, it's better than the alternatives. We've sent you the coordinates. It'll take us a couple of days to align our orbit. We should be able to establish direct contact with you during that time. Then we're coming in to get you. Cross your fingers, the weather holds. And don't leave us waiting. Sunbeam out.
That's right. This is not a joke. This is not a drill. Sunbeam is finally arriving on planet 4546b to pick you up. I imagine most of you are having your gamer moment saying along the lines of, "Let's go!" or "We're finally going to beat the game, boys," or whatever phrase you like to say nowadays. I don't even know at this point. So, Altera, that's a name you've probably seen, but have no idea of what it is, and you're curious. So, Altera is a fictional company which your character just so happens to work for, and they're pretty shady, particularly with your PDA. When you scan everything and you get the PDA entries, seems a bit weird how much they know about the planet already just from you going around and scanning stuff. But at this point you're probably used to shady companies in horror games. So you'll make your way to the island that Sunbeam has marked for you, and you wait for probably an in-game day and a half. But to say that things take a turn for the worst is a massive understatement.
Survivor, we see you. Man, I don't know how you held out down there. We broke an atmosphere, and we're descending towards the landing site. Is this the building down there? What do you mean you can't identify it? Hold on. No turning back now. Position 1. Touching down in 10, 9, 8. It's coming from the building? Change course. Set thrusters to full.
Yeah, that really sucks. All of that hype, watching the timer tick down while you're on the island, hoping you can finally get away from all the madness. And your only escape blows up. I genuinely feel sorry for first-time players who actually thought they were going to get off the planet. Man, I remember that feeling for the first time. It sucks. Yeah. So, with your hope being destroyed, you go back to either the life pod or the base you built, and you feel like you're never going to leave this planet. Ever. So, that was Subnautica and how it succeeds at making you feel isolated. I am very, very sorry to many people of the channel who have waited what felt like years for this video to come out. Procrastination really kicked me in the shins this time around. But yeah, there are a lot more things I could have talked about in this video with the theme of isolation, like how some biomes like the blood kelp and lost river biomes feel decently claustrophobic and don't exactly help with your situation. I am also aware that Subnautica did in fact get a sequel in 2021, Below Zero. I like that game, don't get me wrong, but I do agree with some hardcore fans when they say it did falter in some areas. Like that original isolation feeling? Not really there. Especially when you get to one part of the game, but I won't spoil that here for you. I only wanted to talk about the first couple hours of the original Subnautica with the theme of isolation, because as soon as you get to the later parts of the game, at that point you'll be used to all of the annoying sounds, and well, they'll be annoying at that point at least. And you'll be focused on other matters, which I will not spoil here because I believe everyone should experience this at some point in their lives. With the developers teasing potentially another Subnautica game using the time capsule feature in the game, which that's a very cool feature. All I can say on that is keep your eyes peeled while you're playing. The future of the franchise doesn't feel as in limbo as it used to be. But yeah, I put a lot of time and work into this video, like multiple days. Jesus, I had so many clips, I wasn't sure what to do at one point before deciding on this format. But yeah, anyways, thank you guys for watching, and let me know what other video essays you would like me to cover in the future.